Good afternoon. I'm standing on this big monument where Swiss army men of the Second World War are named, who laid down their lives for the nation. And this is honored. They are not buried here, but their names are honored. The Swiss are swift in account, and that's our Swiss national flag. And this is above where Oberargau Emmental meets. The rivers meet here, and that's Huttwil, the town I was born. My name Stefan Häger. So I want to talk to you today while reading the Injiil about the man called Pontius Pilate, a Roman, then Jesus Christ, a Jew, and Barabbas, a rebel and a dicot in the first century. So let's see what John Mark, the journalist, who was also in the gang with Peter and the other disciples, what he wrote about in the 15th chapter. We have now seen 16 chapters we have in the Bible of John Mark's Injiil record. Today we read how Jesus is brought to Pilate. Remember, the Jews don't crucify people. They stone them to death, the criminals. So the Jews were not allowed to stone without proper hearing. So they did a night hearing and they brought him over to Pilate. It was early in the morning, verse 1. The chief priests with the elders, the teachers of the law and the whole Sanhedrin, that's the Jewish council, they made a decision. They tied Jesus up and they led him away. Yes? Then they handed him over to Pilate. Are you the king of the Jews? Asked Pilate. Pilate was not a Jew. He was scared of an uprising at the Passover time when everyone meets in Jerusalem. An uprising which often happened against the Romans occupying the land. So he didn't want Jesus to be crowned as a Jewish king and then take over. But this was not Jesus' agenda. Now, Jesus says here, yes, it is just as you said. Jesus replied, verse 3, chapter 15, the chief priests brought many charges against him. So Pilate asked him again, are you going to answer? See how many things they charge you with. But Jesus did not reply. Pilate was amazed. It was the usual practice at the Passover feast to let one prisoner go free. The people could choose the one they wanted. A man named Barabbas was in prison. He was there with some other people who had fought against the country's rulers. They fought against them. An uprising, a rebellion. They had committed murder while they were fighting against the rulers. The crowd came up and they asked Pilate to do for them what he usually did. Do you want me to let the king of the Jews go free? Asked Pilate. He knew that the chief priests had handed Jesus over to him because they were jealous. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd. So the crowd asked Pilate to let Barabbas go free instead. Then, what should I do with the one you call the king of the Jews? Pilate asked them. Why did Pilate say, you call him the king of the Jews? Because Jesus himself did not answer. But Pilate knew the Jews claim, or many claim it. What did they say? Verse 13. A very, very strong word. Crucify him. The crowd shouted. Why? What wrong has he done? Asked Pilate. But they shouted even louder. Crucify him. Pilate wanted to satisfy the crowd. So he let Barabbas go free. He ordered that Jesus be whipped. Then he handed him over to be nailed to a cross, which really meant that sentence. Capital punishment for a robber, for a criminal. This was the highest punishment to be given under Roman law.